Previously on Trekking Along. Good morning, everyone. I think today is day 6, and it's cold and windy today. I think we're gonna do like 8 miles today to a stealth site. Probably. Yeah. So we went to Neil Gap again, the mountain crossings again today for the 3rd day in a row. So I'm sure they're finally ready to get rid of us, but yeah. I don't know if you can see them, but there are little snow flurries. They are just coming down. So cool. Okay, so it has been cloudless today, and yet we have sleet or snow. So we're trying to figure out where it comes from on a cloudless day. So very interesting. Alrighty, so we've stopped for lunch. We're kind of sheltered from the wind as best as it's gonna be. We're like at the base of another climb. The wind's coming from behind us and the sun's in front of us. They're staying a little warm. But we've hiked 3 miles so far this morning. Our goal's 8, so we're doing pretty good, I'd say. We think we're getting a little stronger, maybe. That's what we think anyway. But it's also still like snowing, not really snowing, but like sleeting a little bit, which is kind of interesting. There's like no clouds today. Pretty cool. Sarah and I picked up peanut butter packets from Neil's Gap, so we're happy. We're licking these clean for lunch. Hey y'all, so we're at the top of who really knows where, but the view is gorgeous. So we thought we would share it with you guys. The views just keep coming today. Absolutely beautiful, and I don't even feel like we're all that high elevation-wise as far as hiking goes today. But it's been beautiful. All right, quick update. We are almost to Low Gap Shelter. I think that will make about an 11.5-mile day, which we're impressed with. I don't know if anybody else is, but that's impressive. We impress ourselves pretty easily. It has been cold and windy today, but we just stopped and had some M&Ms and some Snickers. And we have one more hill and one more down into the shelter. And we're hoping that because it's Low Gap Shelter, it'll be low enough in the valley that the wind won't be nearly as bad tonight. I think the low is supposed to be about 24, and then there's 25 mile per hour gusts. So cold if you're not finding a way to block some of the wind. So
dreaming about summer tonight.
Yes, dreaming about summer and thinking of all of y'all who are watching the Super Bowl and eating all that nice warm Super Bowl food, because you know
nice warm couch,
we won't be eating any of that. Trying not to be jealous, but we have thoroughly enjoyed today. It's been another gorgeous day to hike, so super excited about that. Can't wait for the warm sleeping bag. See y'all later. Good morning. It's day 7, we think. We're losing track of time already. It was not nearly as bad as it could have been last night. It was cold, but down here in Low Gap, the wind was blocked. You could hear it racing through the trees on the mountains around us, but we just had kind of a gentle breeze that would waft through our tent periodically. So, cannot complain about last night. I think we have 1, maybe 2 4,000 footers today. It's going to be cold again. That's okay. We'll warm up when we're hiking. We're just trying to get motivated to get out of our sleeping bags this morning, and I have to say it's not working very well. Our bags are warm.
Did anyone else get bruised today? I don't feel bad. Well, mine feel so much better without my ski pants. There's a snack with me.
I don't have anything for you.
I was trying to yesterday.
Good morning. So we left camp at like 10:10 this morning. It was only 10 minutes later than yesterday. We were all pretty warm in our sleeping bags. I think Lookout Shelter lived up to its name. The wind wasn't too bad down there, but it was cold. But this morning we are doing 7.3 miles today to a shelter at the top of a mountain. But if we get there and there's still daylight, we may go down the mountain a little bit to find a stealth site because it's supposed to be cold and windy again tonight. So having a little bit of shelter from the wind would be nice.
Okay, so I know some of you think we're funny, but we're obsessed with winter. Look at all the icicles. How cool is that? We have already done a good section of the trail that is just as rocky as what we're about to do. Plus, all the wind has caused the leaves to fall, so it's been fun. Good morning. We are just past Unicoi Gap. We stayed up at Blue Mountain Shelter last night. Got up this morning and had a beautiful sunrise, and then hiked down a 4,000 footer, which is over there somewhere. Not sure if y'all can see what we see, but we're getting ready to hike up another 4,000 footer. So stopped down there at Unicoi Gap by the road and had a quick snack, and now we're hiking on.
Alright guys, so we just finished eating lunch and we're about to go up our last and another 4,000 footer for the day. Straight up to our campsite. So that's what we're about to go do.
We're all All right, so we have made it to Tray Mountain Shelter. We have tents set up. In the process, Emily's about to start chowing. She's very excited about her mac and cheese. The rest of us are waiting very patiently for water to boil. Some of us more patiently than others. Today was a rough day, wouldn't you say, girls?
It was hard.
Today was a hard day. There were a couple of big mountains to climb. We have sore feet, we have sore shoulders. We have hormones we're dealing with as well. So today was just a long 8-mile day. Tomorrow looks like a much easier 8-mile day. And then we're into a hostel on Thursday. So excited. Yes, we are all majorly craving anything that comes from town.
If it's from American, it is not them.
Specifically things that come from fast food joints, but it's all right. There you go. You go for it. So we woke up this morning to like a drizzle outside. So basically everything got wet. We packed up with wet stuff, even though it wasn't really raining, it was still wet. Hiked about 8 miles to Deep Gap Shelter. And I believe this might be our favorite shelter so far on the AT. Emily's outside cooking because we're hungry, even though it's the middle of the afternoon. We're going to eat. And then we'll eat again, and then we'll eat again. I think that's the life of a hiker. But we're drying some stuff out right now, here on the picnic table and around the side. Got some tent pieces drying, and then I'll show you what it's like inside. This shelter will sleep 12, although I suspect you could probably get more than that in there. But it is a dual layer system. So basically, we have set up camp for the night over here. We're expecting more rain tonight, and so that's why we're excited to be at the shelter. There's even more rain coming the following night, and so we will be in a hostel. We're only 4 miles from a hostel. Plenty of room on the other side of the shelter for more hikers, and then there is a loft space with a cute window up on top that you could get some more hikers in. I think if you really had to, you could probably get 5 and 3, probably 16 people in here if it was like a bad night and you really wanted to. This hostel was a little bit of a hike off the trail, but it was totally worth it to us. And then, you can't really see it, but another thing we have come to love while we're hiking are bear boxes. And this this shelter does have a bear box over here by the tree that we can use. So super convenient. Just about all the shelters in Georgia have had bear boxes. There's just been a couple the last 2 nights, I think, that did not have bear boxes. But this is just a great little shelter. I think it was 3/10 of a mile off of the AT, so a little bit of a hike, but totally worth it considering it's going to storm tonight, or possibly storm tonight. So very excited. We have decided as a group that we are basically like little mountain goats going down a hill, but more like slugs going up a mountain. It takes us forever to get up a mountain. We watch all these people pass by us. They don't even stop and take a break. They just keep on hiking. And here we are stopping and breathing hard and giving our muscles a rest for a few minutes before we continue on. But at some point, I understand we will get trail legs, but we definitely don't have. We what? They can't come fast enough. Yeah, I've looked at the vitamin section of Walmart. They don't sell anything called trail legs. It's unfortunate. I would love to be able to just pop a pill. We are getting stronger. Like, we can feel that we're getting stronger. We're just still painfully slow. So definitely not going to win any race to Katahdin, but that is okay. But it's a nice afternoon, nice evening to just hang out at Deep Gap Shelter.
Cold, but yeah.
Yeah, it's cold, but welcome to the week we've had so far. It's been cold. We might be getting slightly acclimated to it. So it's a cool, foggy, mystical morning on the trail this morning. It's actually very cool. Just came across the first of trail magic on the trail. Somebody has left peanut butter cups, so Sarah was excited because, Sarah and peanut butter. You gonna grab one? I think it's the last one.
There's wood.
All right, at Dick's Gap. Peanut butter.
Not for lunch.
Okay. So I think the last we were actually talking about trail, we were at Deep Gap Shelter, and I think we professed our love for that shelter and that it might be our favorite one. So we actually slept in that shelter, or supposedly slept in that shelter. What happened?
We were in the shelter, and Sarah and I were watching a movie, and Mom and Becca were doing something on their phone, and all of a sudden the mice come out. You can just hear them all upstairs, and it was...
The scurrying was relentless.
It was
They sounded big too. I don't know if it's just because they were moving trash around up there, but they just sounded big. And
I've never slept as far down my sleeping bag as I ever have
I
before.
found myself cinched in. Yeah, I'm on my sleeping pad, and then her knees are on my sleeping pad, and I'm
I was by the
pushing
wall,
her,
and I didn't want to be
get
next
over,
to it.
Go to your sleeping bag, and she just gets closer, and I'm like, "What is wrong with you?"
Mom was sliding close to me. We were showing my sleeping pad, and I was scoot over.
And they're not big sleeping pads.
No. At one point, I did have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I decided it was not worth getting out of my sleeping bag and risking something getting in while I was out using the privy. So I stayed in my sleeping bag all night long. So
And the little mouse alarm.
Oh, yes. So when we went to bed, I have a plastic bag that I carry all of my electronics in, and I had laid it above my head, kind of near the wall, and I jokingly said I had taken the charger out. It was in the bag with me because it was cold. And I jokingly looked at Rebecca and said, "This will be our mouse alarm. If a mouse crawls along this wall, it'll walk on this bag and we'll hear it." We heard it. It was on our bag at one point. I heard that right above my head, and I wiggled as much as I could in my sleeping bag, hoping it would scurry away and be scared. I don't know if it worked or not, but there were mice. We're not fans of shelters.
They dropped acorns on us all night long.
They were very generous.
They were very generous hosts.
Yep. They made sure we had a plentiful snack opportunity should we have awoken in the middle of the night and been hungry. We had acorns galore dropped on us. And then Emily had an invitation. What were you invited to do?
I was invited to play a game of cards because they dropped a playing card on my head and freaked me out. It was big, and so I don't know what fell on me, but I woke up next morning and it was a deck of cards.
She may not have politely declined that invitation, but they didn't hold it against us. So it was okay. So, did not sleep well at Deep Gap Shelter, even though we were it did rain almost all night long, so we were dry. So
it was
we were
a metal
thankful for
roof,
that.
so we could hear everything.
When it did rain, it drowned out the sound of the
Nice.
scurrying mice.
Yeah,
So we
I
were
was
thankful for
thankful
that. So we were dry, we were warm. It is still a very nice shelter. It just definitely has mice. But we woke up the next morning and only had 4.5 miles? 4.5 miles to walk to Around the Bend Hostel. That place is amazing. Lisa and Gordon have thought of everything a hiker could possibly need.
Yeah.
So I think Rebecca shot some video of the room that we were in.
Yeah.
So this was the kitchen, and they had a washing machine and dryer here. There's also a separate washing machine in the other, half of the hostel. This was the kitchen, a full kitchen, a fridge and a freezer. They had some food that we could eat, and then some games, which we never actually played. We realized that this morning. And then you got the family room, the sitting area where everyone can share. And then our room was right here. We had the 4 beds, which was very nice to have our own private bedroom. We know how to trash a bedroom. There's another bedroom right here, which a hiker stayed in last night, and then the bathroom. And this is their, is there light? I don't know. This is their hiker board for this year. We signed our names, and I can see. There we are.
Met tons of other hikers that are clearly not on our pace because I think
They're all gone
they
now.
left us in the dust yesterday, but that's okay. They were all very sweet. We've made lots of connections. Met a dog that was helping.
Buddy.
There's a gal hiking this year. Her name is Titanium. She's trying to be the oldest female to complete the trail, and so she had her dog Buddy with her, and just a plethora of people from Canada and the U.S., just all the walks of life, all with the same goal. It's kind of nice to be with our peeps that don't think we're crazy because we want to do this. Everybody else is just as crazy. Yes. So it was kind of like a little mini bubble there, and it poured rain that night.
Yeah, the hostel was full, like
Packed. Yeah, there was not an empty bed in that hostel. No one wanted to be out in that weather. Didn't sleep real good there, not because it was the hostel, just because there were some people that got up at like 4 o'clock in the morning because they wanted to hike really early, and
They were really loud.
they weren't real quiet, so we were up at 4 too. So didn't get tons of sleep there.
You're missing the good part though. We went to town.
Oh yes,
yes.
that's
And we
right.
got burgers for lunch.
And fries and sweet tea. It was so good.
good.
So good. Yeah, that was.
Yes.
They shuttle into town apparently like twice a day. And so we were on the 1 o'clock shuttle, so we were able to get a few things we needed at Outdoor 76.
We were in town for 4 hours.
Yes, Outdoor 76. We got burgers at a joint.
We got home at 4.
And then
Walmart,
so 3 hours, and then we ran to Walmart
where we got
and
chocolate milk, Reese's,
Chocolate ice cream.
chocolate ice cream,
Reese's and peanut butter.
M&M's.
Oh.
and peanut butter M&Ms.
So good.
All
And
the
cantaloupe.
necessities, and cantaloupe.
cantaloupe to be
And-
healthy.
The funny part is we have all these hikers that went with us that were shuttled to Walmart, and we go into Walmart and every hiker was on the candy aisle when we showed up to the candy aisle. So we know where all the hikers like to go in
Yep.
Walmart.
It was funny. We had a list. We kind of split up. Emily and I were like, "We'll get this. Y'all get this." And Emily got a few things, and we were like, "Oh, we need M&Ms." So we found the candy aisle and turned the aisle, and the only people on the aisle were hikers.
It was kind of funny.
So, sugar cravings have hit. So, but then yesterday we left the hostel kind of late.
Yeah,
Tennis.
we finished.
Just kind of pokey getting out of bed yesterday.
Yeah.
enjoying
And
the nice warm bed.
and thought we would just hike like
4
4 or 5
miles,
miles to Plum Grove or
Plum
Plum
orchard.
Orchard, something.
Yeah.
So we got there at
Yes.
lunchtime, and we're like, we can do more miles.
No. They were like, we can do 8
Well, we
miles,
decided we
more miles,
wanted to get
it's
to the North
fine.
Carolina border that day, regardless of how many miles we do. So we decided just to do 4, to do 2 more to the border and see how we're feeling then.
No, it's like 3 more to the border.
3 more to the
Or 4,
border.
something
Like that.
So anyways, we made it to the border.
North Carolina.
Woo!
Woohoo! Way to go, girls.
We
made it to North Carolina. Woo!
We were very proud of ourselves. But then we thought on far out, it looked like you could camp just shortly after the border. And
Like
we were
100
like,
feet.
Yeah,
So
we were
we
like,
hiked
we'll
up this
just
little
camp
hill,
there.
and the wind was
There was a
horrible.
ridge.
There's like a place where you can camp where like the mountains protecting you from the wind, but they have blocked that off to like restore the area, and so you can only camp on the ridge. And it was so windy.
There
and
were
it was
wind gusts of like
freezing.
30 miles
Yeah.
per hour last night.
And we were
so-
like, we don't want to camp there, and so we started hiking.
So we decided, let's try to make it to the shelter.
let's try to
Well,
make
we
it to
ate dinner
Muskrat
there.
Shelter.
We ate
Yeah.
dinner
Yes.
because it's getting dark
ate
already.
dinner,
It
and
was
then
like
we said,
5.
let's try to make it to the
No, it's like
shelter.
6.
But it's got dark, and we were just cold and done.
So, well,
And-
we had to do night hiking, which
Which
we're
was
not
not
huge.
our
on
thing.
And
it.
apparently, North Carolina mountains are awful. We do not like North
Yeah, we
Carolina
did a,
mountains. They
Well,
are
they're not
horribly
terrible.
steep.
4,500 footer in the dark. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Not cool though.
So
Not
basically,
fun.
we were like, okay, well, we might have to night hike, but it'll be worth it to get to Muskrat
Shelter.
Shelter. Only problem was, as soon as it got dark, we pulled out our headlamps. Sarah's,
Sarah's
which
dead.
used to be the brightest
Mine was
one,
the
wouldn't even
brightest.
turn on, so who knows what's up with that
I
one.
probably need to change the batteries.
Mine has brand new batteries and is still very dull, so I think mine just needs to be replaced.
Mine's just dull in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hers is really dull.
So mine
Rebecca's
was the
is
brightest,
decent.
and it lasted. I had
Two-
it on low and it lasted a good while. And then we were trying to find a campsite, had it on high. It lasted for like 5 minutes, and my flashlight went out.
Literally. So we went up this mountain, and then we're going down this mountain. We're like, okay, let's just like camp in the little gap area. South Gap. We get there. Rebecca turns and goes, "Oh, look, there's a campsite," and then her headlamp just dies. So we're like, we're camping here.
We're camping here, and
so
we used
windy.
my phone. There was a little like sign that said whatever gap, and I just kind of propped my phone up against it so it would illuminate the campsite, and we all set up camp, and it was still windy.
So cold.
Oh
my
my
goodness.
Ice fell on us.
Yes.
Our tent got a hole. Hers and I's tent got a hole in it because the ice split it open.
There was
so
the
loud.
trees all up in North Carolina. Well, even before North Carolina. I think I took video of it a little bit yesterday. We're just covered in ice. So I don't know if y'all can see, but all the rain last night up here in the upper elevations froze to the trees. And so everything looks very icy. It's very cool. A little winter wonderland up here with all the ice on all the branches. It was below freezing last night, so I'm not sure
How they fell off.
why the ice was coming off the trees, because at that point it was not windy, but it was coming off in massive chunks, and you could hear it hit our tent, break apart, and then scatter to the ground. So when we got up this morning, the ground was white, but it was not snow. It was chunks of ice.
And then the wind started this morning. I don't know
Mhm.
what time it started,
I don't
but
either, but it was
was
bad.
whipping so bad. Like, I got out of the tent because our tent started coming undone, so I fixed it, and I could hardly stand up.
Half the
Being
tent
blown
was
over.
like caved in.
It felt like an Arctic expedition this morning, trying to pack
And
up
then we started
camp.
hiking, and it's not windy anymore because we got behind a mountain or something. So now it
Wind
feels
break.
nice.
Yeah. So it was like 27, I think, when we were packing up, and we
Close
didn't
wind.
even get
With the
out.
wind.
We didn't even start moving in our tents until about 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, let the sun try to warm us up a little bit. I don't know that it helped, but so we've hiked. Now that we've moved around, we've warmed up. We made it to Muskrat Shelter.
We're like a mile away.
Had our second breakfast and used the privy because we privy hop apparently along the AT. And now we're going to keep hiking. We're not going to go too much further. Probably about 5 more miles.
And we're not doing any more
to
than
the
that.
next shelter.
No more night hiking ever again. Horribly
And
scary.
we're looking forward to Franklin because we're going to take a zero there and have a warm
warm
hotel room for like
2 nights.
24 hours.
Yes, and town
food because that's what we live for right now is town
And
food.
we're so many days away.
It's like the only thing that motivates me to climb up a mountain.
So, all right. Sorry we haven't been vlogging along the way, but
It's been too cold.
it's been way too cold and way too windy to try to vlog too much because.
And going up a mountain, it's hard to vlog because you're just panting and like.
We are panting. Everyone else is fine, but we
Yeah.
are
Every
panting.
other hiker out here just seems to hike up these mountains, and we're dying. But we're getting them done, and we will get there. So we are getting stronger. We can feel it.
Yeah.
The mountains just keep getting bigger. I'm not sure about that.
Tomorrow we have a 5,000 footer.
We've already done a couple of 5,000 footers, so
Yes, we
we'll
do.
do it.
Look at it.
Yes, last night we did. I
Don't
think.
do that. It's awful.
Sorry, my hands are
All right,
Oh, don't do that.
are we ready to hike?
Yep.
Let's hike.
Yeah.
So the trail is probably supposed to be a river, but this is all ice. So this will be fun. There are some tall mountains in North Carolina. They're gorgeous though. But I have a feeling we'll be hiking up one of these. Or 3 or 4 in the near future. They just keep going. The view from up here is absolutely breathtaking. Super, super windy, but gorgeous. It's like 360 views. All right, so we ended up hiking way more miles than we had originally intended today. We were going to stay I don't remember the name of the shelter, but Standing Indian Shelter. But when we got there, we were reading reviews and it was very mousy, and you know, we're trying to avoid mice at this point. So we ended up hiking. I don't know, we're at mile, anybody know what mile we're at? 90. We're at mile 90, so only 10 miles away from the 100-mile marker. And there's a water source here and some tenting areas, if I can figure out how to work the phone. So we're getting settled in before night tonight instead of, you know, coming in at dark. It'll be dark, I'm sure, here shortly, but we have time to get our tent set up and get supper. And I feel like we're a little protected from the wind tonight. It's supposed to be down in the mid-20s again. So not a bad day, but not what we had intended, and I think we're all feeling it today. This is another big day for us, 2 in a row. So tomorrow should be a much easier day. As it is right now, we could get into Franklin a day early. We may not. It's going to rain. All that's kind of still up in the air, but we'll see. Just thankful for a nice spot tonight.
Next week on Trekking Along.
Her mom went to go get her bear cans. She noticed that my pot that I kept next to my bear can is missing.